Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hardwood Nations podcast with your boy, CL Anthony, my main man, Bryce Ward. And today we got some special guests on. My money man, Mike France, returning to the podcast. And then Joshua of Doubted Views,
Yo,
formerly of the Hardwood Nation. What's going on, fellas?
sir. Doing good. Am I gonna start first, or I guess I'm already talking. I can just take it. All right, cool. Yeah. I'm
Go
Josh.
with it.
Sonny J. You can see it. Yeah, rocking with the Hardwood Nation. Used to be a writer. Used to cover a lot of Heat stuff. Used to do a podcast for it as well. Still keeping an eye on the Heat. It's not so bad over there for them. I don't care that they didn't get anyone in free agency, although there's a few pieces I'd like to see them go for. But I'm over here at Doubted Views. I know Mike, I got it. I got the point thing down. We got it down. Hey, so I got Mike. Mike also helps out sometimes with Doubted Views as well. Gives us in the finance takes. Definitely got some good stuff over there. But we definitely appreciate being over here and coming back to the roots of things. So definitely glad to be a part of it.
My man, Michael.
And I'm dealing with a different type of heat. You know what I'm saying? It may not be the Miami heat, but I'm dealing with 115-degree heat out here. You know what I'm saying?
Come to Florida.
I'm good. I'd rather deal with the dryness rather than that wet, sticky. So I'm good. So, I mean, I'm good. It's 5 a.m. out here, so it's still cool in the morning here. So it's perfect time. So I'm just glad to be back on here with you guys. You know, I always love rocking with you guys, you and Bryce here.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Last time we had some problems, so at least this time I get to be on with you guys.
There we go.
Bryce Ward, what's going on, my man?
Same old. Just glad to have these other guys on. You know, we talked a while about doing something like this. So this platform, thanks, man, Josh, for pointing us onto this, because it's been pretty smooth transition. So now we can do pretty much what we want to do. So yeah, we're excited.
No worries.
Evolution, right? That's what it's all about. And I promise I won't hit myself in the head with this bottle. So we're gonna get started today, and the genesis of this, because we, as Michael knows, we don't give a fuck. We just say what we want to say, right? So come cancel me, it's fine.
Right.
Okay, so Joshua texted me and asked me, had we talked about the BG situation, and in my early morning haze, I was like, "Who the fuck is BG?" I had no idea what he was talking about. I was just keeping it real, right? Real. Yeah. And Joshua told me Brittney Griner, and I said, "No, me and Bryce have not talked about Brittney Griner on the Hardwood Nation podcast, just due to us not covering the WNBA. But it is a huge issue." So, with that said, Joshua and Mike, if you guys want to just take turns giving us a brief rundown of what's going on. And then we'll get into this. I have seen some of the social aspect. Then we'll get into the social aspect of why or why not she's not home.
All right. So, Mike, you want to go? Again, we can start off with the real layman's terms of things. So, long story short, she was over there for about 6 or 7 years playing basketball for one of the Russian teams over there. So, being a respectable citizen over there, playing ball, things all good, until she brought drugs up in there in the form of a cart. They caught her, and as we know, Russian laws are not American laws, and a lot of things are very tight over there right now, being because of a war and whatever you want to go off of. So, not the best time to do that type of thing. So, she unfortunately, she walked into that type of deal knowing what was up. So she got caught, and now there's a whole Bring Brittney Home campaign going on the social side of things. And I know everybody likes to compare. If Trump got Jello out of China, Joe Biden could get, Brittney out of it. It's not the same situation. And plus, there wasn't a war going on. The relationship between the two countries are not the same. So that's, I think, the biggest points that people need to realize here. And again, I even me at the beginning was all like, "Oh yeah, he could do it. He's the president." But as you start to dig into the facts of things and really see what's going on, it is not looking good. Hasn't looked good, and is not looking any better for her in that situation. So, Mike, I don't know if you had any points on that before I keep going on it, really.
Well, yeah, she's going to be over there at least until December after her trial. The unfortunate side is that because of those type of situations where it was like Trump would have brought her back, what is Biden doing? To me, that's just more division. It's a more reason for us to be politically divided as people, right? and it divides the sports nation even more. And that's how they to me, that's how they target certain demographics, whether it's sports people, whether it's political, etc. It all ends up tying together, right? So because of that type of energy and the effort that was to bring her back, she said, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna plead guilty." So she pled guilty to the charge. Not that she didn't do it. I mean, she got caught with the cartridge, right? So I mean, really, it's kind of like you were guilty. But the unfortunate side is that there really was not a lot of effort to do anything for it. But I get why. I mean, we are sitting here, and I believe it's from my side. I believe that it's a political type holding as well. It's being used as as like an opportunity for a high platform to say, "Hey, we've got one of your coveted athletes over here. Guess what? We're going to do whatever we can to keep her over here." And it's stopping her from making her money. She was over there overseas playing for those national teams because she wasn't even getting paid enough over here, right? A lot of those WNBA players were like, "Hey, we're going to go play overseas because we get paid 10 times more," right? So it was just unfortunate the situation was what it was. But, I think that it's been blown up because that focus is of the effort side of it, which is unfortunate because, like I said, there's some facts here that need to be paid attention to. But there's also some emotional side as well. But when it comes down to law, you're supposed to be looking at facts here. So it's just unfortunate overall.
What you got, Bryce?
I pretty much agree with these guys for the most part. The problem is, it seems like they're asking for some real dangerous shit in return, like basically an arms dealer. And I think if this was a normal time, I don't even think she would have gotten arrested because I think, like Josh said, they've been going over there forever playing this or doing this for these teams. These oligarchs are the ones I think pretty much funding everything there. And so I think they had like a deal, you could pretty much come over here and do whatever you wanted to do. You were kind of like a famous athlete over here. We were paying you to come here. She was probably just used to doing it in the past and never really having issues or something like that, I would imagine. And so this just being right before the war started, I think just is what makes it a different ball game altogether. And I think if it wasn't going on, it wouldn't have happened. And I think we could have gotten her back probably pretty easily. But I think there's another element here that we can't really speak on. It's more of like the government level where they have to make a deal and feel comfortable. And even though she's a high profile athlete, she's still like a civilian. It's not a military. Like, we're not getting an arms dealer back, nothing like that equivalent, even though we're not supposed to have shit like that going on anyways. But
no, we do.
Of course.
I'm not even saying it's like something I've seen this, but I believe there's like an underlying racial tone to it, just based on some tones and attitudes I've seen. Because to make the argument that we've been talking about here so far is like pretty level-headed and reasonable. And so I think you see some more outrageous takes on the internet, and then that brings out the other side on the opposite direction. And I've just seen like people are really good at hiding it, but I can tell from their tones and attitudes that like maybe if this was a different athlete or a different person altogether, I'm talking like maybe white instead of black or mixed, maybe you would see more, at least motivation from the other side of people speaking out on it. Like I said, I'm not even sure if that's right or wrong. It's just I know how these situations can get piggybacked, made political, and made racial. And I think any chance that people do that, it's kind of disgusting, whether or not it's for the good or for the bad. You know what I mean? It's just like that. I don't think that's what this situation is, but I can't help but feel that kind of vibe off certain people. Like no one specific, but it's just like when you've been around it your whole life, you kind of know that like there's something else going on here. And like I said, sometimes it's pretty gross. But I'm not saying that's happening. I'm just saying it's a vibe I picked up on. And whether or not we think they should do whatever to get her home or think that they can or cannot, I don't think we need to bring in these other aspects to it because it just muddies the waters.
Well, you bring up a good point. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut in here real quick, but I know I made my points here. But Bryce, you made a good point in regards to that, and that's where I was kind of going with the division side, because it always breaks down to where it's funny, like a lot of situations that we see, whether when it's on television, for instance, it all boils down to racial division at some point, right? So you could be reading those undertones correctly, because the easiest way to divide all four of us on here from their perspective is race, right? That's the easiest way to divide anybody. And so when that happens, you're going to throw something like this in there. Then you get, what do you do with the LGBTQ community, right? Stuff like that, because there's laws protecting LGBTQ people now. And, it's like, well, what are we doing? So, it's interesting the way that the narrative continues to go and continues to change, and the things that are derived from it. So one thing that you brought up, and I don't know if Josh recollects this as well, but I think that part of what was going on as far as any of the negotiations at one point when they had Brittney detained, we had, I think, 2 Russian war spies held up. So they wanted those in return to bring her home. And it's like, hey,
and
these
we
guys
hit them with sanctions. We had hit them with economic sanctions that they were still trying to get around. So there was a lot of drama going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically trying to get leverage on each other. Whereas, the China situation a while back, even though it's not like we get along great with them, it's not like we were at funding someone that they were at war with. It wasn't that crazy. Right now it's just a crazy time for Russia to deal with anybody, let alone us.
Yeah.
On top of the fact there's 40 other Americans they're still trying to get out of the same exact situation. So let me just paint the social picture here, right? Brittney is fast figuring out that she is not as important as she thinks she is. And it sucks to say that. It really does, because I would like her home. I think she's an American. Everybody should want her back. This is where the divide happened, and Bryce hit it right on the nail with the racial deal. When Brittney came out and said she disowns being an American and all this, that during the Trump deal, everybody kept that in the back of their minds, and now she's in a situation, and now I'm telling you, so over at Dot of View, sometimes we go into True Social to talk to some people. I have my thoughts about that app, whatever. But I know that they like to go in there and do that too. I can't be on there more than 5 minutes. But they really are like, nope, you put yourself in that situation. Nope, figure it out. Nope, you didn't want to be an American. So that whole other side is like, screw it. She put herself in that situation where it's like, yo, this is an American. Like, come on. Like, at the end of the day, but the timing of it is awful. Like Mike said, the 2 spies, right? We're hit them with sanctions. We're funding their enemies. They got that whole Russia-Ukraine deal is so deep. It is not even funny. So for us even being in there and meddling with that, it's not even. So yeah, she just kind of got caught up at a really bad time.
Yep. I want to add something. I know historically Russia has been against LGBT as well. Historically. So you have the racial component, and then you have the sexual orientation component. And just to put a cap on it, one, this is great shit, by the way, but just to put a cap on it, and please, God, don't take offense to what I'm saying here, but I think we would probably have a different outcome if she was blonde, blue-eyed, straight. I think we would have a different outcome.
Yeah, I do too.
We're just gonna leave it at that.
I think at the very least there would be more of a pouring of support from people, for sure. Right. Yeah, whether or not we actually got anybody home, because I think that's a bigger thing right now. But you would have people reaching out more or talking about it more. That's without it.
She looked like Gabby Petito. She'd probably be on the plane coming back home right now.
Hey, it's possible. It's definitely possible.
There's an argument to be made there.
Michael.
Yep.
As always, it brings a smile to my face. As always, your boy had to put his foot in it, right? All right. Mm-hmm. So here we go. Do you need me to read the first quote? Or you just want to get into it?
We can get into it, but go ahead for the people in case they haven't. If they haven't heard it,
Okay.
go ahead and read. Go ahead and read.
Because we do everything for the people, right? All right. So here we go.
Exactly.
So on his little HBO podcast, The Shop, whatever the fuck it's called, King James spoke out against Brittney Griner. Well, spoke for Brittney Griner.
For her, yeah.
Yes. But he spoke out against the situation. All right, there we go. Mm-hmm. So the exact quote was, the first quote, over 110 days, meaning she's been over there at that point for 110 days. Now we know it's been longer. I think it's like 180 something days, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. Now, how could she feel like America has her back? James said on his show, I would feel like, do I even want to go back to America? And this has, from her side, going back to what Joshua said, some of the comments that was made during the Trump regime, the things connect, okay? Because some people on the other side will make that connection, even based on what LeBron James said. Okay, so LeBron James caught some heat last week for those comments. Michael, how do you feel about the heat that LeBron may have caught from the right side of the?
So yeah, that's I'm gonna speak from both sides here. So
okay,
my first position is from Brittney Griner's side, and I can see that. Like I can see where it's like, damn, why would I even want to go back? I mean, let's think about it though. We're probably still even though things are as bad as they are over here, we're still probably the best spot for somebody to be in, right? Mm-hmm. Dealing with because a lot of the stuff that we have, granted, right now, a lot of problems we have are financial. Of course, with inflation, interest rates going up. These are, the things that we talk about, fairly often, and what's probably talked about the water cooler every day. Oh my gosh, I'm going broke, right? Yep. Everything else is used as distractions, right? So if you can see through the smoke on those situations, this is still a great place to live. But speaking from her position, she's an entertainer over here. And let's be real, technically an underpaid entertainer, mm-hmm. right? So, and not just that, but like when you become into that limelight, you know what I'm saying? Like you become almost controllable, right? So it's like I'm kind of giving up my life in a lot of positions for a professional athletic life, but I have to understand what it comes with. So if I'm sitting here and I'm like, hey, I'm busting my ass night in, night out, this, that, and the other, and y'all don't even care this much to even, publicize it, as little as it's been publicized, right? Like nobody cares now I know what I'm worth to everybody, right? So I can see where her feelings would be for that. And I think that's maybe where LeBron was coming from, because as an athlete, you're kind of you're in a position that's different than just an average human being, right? Does he deserve the heat? I mean, everybody's going to say yes and no. I mean, he was just making a point. I think the backpedaling on the second portion of it was something that was unnecessary. He should have never did that. If you're going to say something, stick with it, right? And I think that's the position that we've been in with LeBron recently over the span of the past few years. Is there something that he'll say and then he'll backpedal it? No. Stick with what you're doing, bro. Like if this is how you feel, take your heat. You're bringing it upon yourself because you're never going to make 100% of everybody happy. Right. So, I mean, it's going to draw ratings. Of course, people are going to go and watch The Shop because of it, which The Shop isn't really even that bad of a show. It's fairly decent. It's just people around barbershop and in chairs sitting around talking like we're talking, but just from a different perspective, a high level perspective. But, I mean, shit. He made his point. He said what he said. I mean, I don't necessarily have a bad feeling for what he said, but like I said, I just don't like the backpedaling portion of it. Which do you want to read the second? Do you want to read the second?
I am. I want. I want Joshua. Joshua's about to erupt. I want him to
Dark.
give
So
me his
like
piece.
I like LeBron, bro. Okay. So we all know why he backpedaled. We know exactly why he backpedaled. Every
Yes.
time LeBron talks politics, everybody from Fox News and the right side want to be like, shut up and dribble. Shut up and like just they gonna hate you every single time you open your mouth about everything else other than basketball. So just stick with it. They gonna hate you regardless. Like
Right.
Tucker Carlson's gonna. Oh, what if I? What am I gonna do? And Laura and all of them are gonna talk. That's what they do. They literally have nothing else to do other than react to what you say because you're LeBron. Say it, people are gonna follow you. Now, me personally, again, like I'm with you on the Brittney deal as far as like feeling left out. Yeah, I just don't think he should have He should just stop backpedaling on shit. That's just me personally.
Did you see that he is actually him and I think it's him and Maverick? They're actually trying to copyright "Shut Up and Dribble" and own it now.
That's good. I didn't see that.
Good.
Yeah, that was known from the past couple of days. And real quick, the last point that I was going to make, and this is kind of where I lost track for a second. If people are expecting Biden to go over and get Brittney Griner, right, or do what he can, it's not going to happen. But look, this is to me now speaking from my perspective. You got who you wanted in office, right? Everybody emotionally voted. They got who they wanted, right? Yeah. So how can you even complain about what's happening now? Because there was writing on the wall that shit like this was going to happen. When I said I didn't vote because I didn't vote, I don't vote for racists or pedophiles, right? And both of those guys are both of them.
The only options we had.
Believe it or not, Biden is a racist. Let's be real.
Man, dog, don't even. I spit in Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's face. They're good for nothing than putting black people behind bars. But that's a whole nother conversation that we not about to have.
But you can't expect a lot. You can't expect a lot, though. You know what I'm saying? You can't expect the world when that world's not even being presented to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was an emotional entry into the presidency. Let's be real. The whole situation was emotional.
I was called out just for not voting because I don't believe in voting for, like you said, someone that you don't believe in. And so I was, in some circles I've been around, I was like the bad guy for not voting at all because the other is looked at such an extreme that you're a bad guy for not voting against it. And I can't believe in that either. And so it was a really odd time for sure.
Yep.
And it continues to be an odd time. The next one's going to be even worse. I'm worried about these swings the other way, these extremes. So, like, we never come back in the middle. We just get farther and farther one way or the other. So this is getting so bad that I'm worried about what the answer is going to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to read LeBron's rebuttal. And then, Bryce, you let us know if you agree or disagree. So a day or two after the media blew up, the right media blew up the LeBron James story, he dropped this on Twitter. My comments on the shop regarding Brittney Griner wasn't knocking our beautiful, beautiful country. I was simply saying how she was probably feeling emotionally along with so many other emotions, thoughts, etc. inside that cage she's been in for over 100+ days. Long story short, bring her home. Bryce, I will say all he had to say to begin with was just bring her home. And then none of this would have never happened. How do you feel about
that? I think. Look, I always add in like I think there's a human element here. I'm not so hard on these guys outside of like Kevin Durant. You know what I mean? But like LeBron like has this urge or whatever feeling that he has to speak out. Like he's the new MJ, right? And people wanted MJ to speak out more. You know, they want more out of their players, and then they complain when they actually talk. So the problem is, I don't know, who handles LeBron, or he comes up with all this shit on his own. But like, maybe he needs to like have someone read over his shit and then talk about it, because the whole like, you can have your opinion. I don't even disagree with your opinion, but like the way you present it, and then the way you respond to the people that someone somewhere is gonna have a problem. So it's just like, yeah, you don't have to retract it. You don't have to apologize. but he's just a human, man. He's just out there trying to get his ideas across. So I could see saying something and then wanting to justify it. I can understand that, but I'm not in his shoes. I'm not like the greatest player of a generation where everybody's looking at you. Yeah, I'm not that. So we can't sit here and pretend that we're just going to handle every situation better. We can just be like, hey, in my eyes, he didn't have to do all that. Like you said, he could have just been like, bring her home. He could have just said what he did say and not responded back at all.
Right.
But there's no right or wrong way to this. Like I said, with this, the things and the responsibilities that new athletes have to deal with, the social media aspect is a different ball game. So I'm never like too hard on any of these guys doing shit like that. It's like he's not a political dude, and political people come out. The government, these officials, they come out and retract and restate shit. I mean, right in front of our eyes. I mean, Biden says one thing, and this like that, twisted up in such a way that you don't even know what they're saying to begin with. So I'm not gonna come down on him the way other people are for like changing your stance, but I just think that he needs to like kind of talk with his own people more and maybe not be so quick to get out there, despite some people wanting you to speak up on it. Like you don't have to on everything, but I'm not gonna beat down on him for it.
No. He don't have to. So my Detroit Piston fan and my Orlando Magic fan, if you guys want to take a sandwich break, bathroom break, go ahead. Me and Joshua are gonna get into some heat stuff here.
Oh no, I want to hear this. I'm really trying to hear what these ideas are.
Joshua, I told the fellas earlier before you jumped on that I've effectively been on vacation since Jimmy missed that last shot in Miami against them.
I was on a boat.
That hurt my soul.
The whole crew's hurt after that. Everybody was in the bar just, oh, damn. He shouldn't have taken that shot. Why did they do this? Why did they do that? You know what? I'm happy he took the shot because if he would have made that shit, he would have been the greatest player in Miami since Dwayne Wade. I don't want to hear shit from nobody. If he hit that shot, everybody would have been like, oh, Jimmy Butler, wow, what a great signing that was. Okay, anyways, look, this is real simple. Leave Donovan Mitchell alone. Leave Kevin Durant alone. I do not want bitch boy Durant coming over here and ruining our franchise like he just ruined the fucking Nets. Okay, thank God the Warriors are putting together enough for him not to ruin them. Okay, see what the fuck going on with them, but they're smart enough to load all those picks. Now they got young guns over there, and they're looking okay. All right, but Brooklyn's in the shambles. Brooklyn's like they don't know what's going on, so they just grab whatever they can. That's why it's so hard to trade with them because they're just trying to get they're desperate. They're trying to get way too much out of people. So this is what you do. It's real simple. Pay Tyler Hero. Put Duncan Robinson back on the freaking floor. Like, just so Duncan's got to get better at defense. We already know. He's got to get better at defense. Max Strus on Tatum and Smart. Look, the man got effort, but he got dogged the entire series. I don't want to hear it. The man got absolutely killed the entire series, but it's okay. All right? Hero's got to get better with off ball. I'm so sick and tired of Hero standing still when he doesn't have the ball. Man's great offensive talent. Got to finish the rest of that tattoo. Can't go with that. That's terrible. I don't know who decided that was cool and who decided the picture. You got to get it. You got to get it colored in. You got to connect it because they're not gonna praise you like Lonzo Ball.
No tattoo. Work, no check.
You got it. I don't know what happened with that. Like maybe it was like he just got because how the tattoo deals go. You got to get it, then you got to go back for another session and this and that. So maybe it was kind of caught in between that. But look, it's real simple. Okay, you take Tyler Hero's got to get better at off ball. Duncan's got to get better at defense. You got two major fixes there. I really am over Kyle Lowry. I really am. So if we honestly if we're gonna run with him, fine. I like Gabe Vincent. I like Gabe Vincent a lot. I think he's a good backup. But we got to look for it. We're probably not gonna get it done now, but for this season, I'm okay with Kyle if he can keep his body in shape. But you know how that goes. He's probably gonna be broken in half by the halfway point. Either way, you saw anyone see Bam Adebayo at the Miami Pro League? You saw that?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so before I get into that, I gotta come clean here. When they drafted Bam, I was, why did we? Oh, God. I didn't know anything. So as time goes on, as you start to hear stuff, this Bam guy might be one of the best bigs that Miami has ever seen, right? If you saw the Miami Pro League highlights of just what he does, like just because you know how it is when they get in these open court type of deals, they're allowed to be a lot more free. You can actually see the type of arsenal that they're working with. We see how dominant LeBron really is on those open court sessions when the season's all like, yo, nobody can guard this man at all. And then obviously the NBA is a different deal. So Bam Adebayo is a true do-it-all 4. I am tired of the 5 deal. Get the man to the 4. He can't help Jimmy because he's trying to be a busy anchor in the 5 and then go down on the other side of the court. And then there's a system that the Heat play in that's a strict system. And that's why you see Bam sitting there with the ball like, okay, who do I pass to? Who do I pass to? Who do I pass to? It's because that's the system. He can't shoot because he's not supposed to. So if you put him in a 4 and more relaxed position, he could put the ball in the hoop way more. The man is a 20-10 easy. I don't care what anybody says. Jimmy, you see it. He's dropping down to a playmaker defensive type role. He can score and do what he needs to when we need it, as we've seen, but the years are catching on to him. It is what it is. Now, what do we do about the 5? I'm okay with all the backups we have right now. I like it. I think we're good there. The Heat are one of the teams that just like they can go in the G League, find a secret talent, and build them up. They just drafted Jovic. I think that's a steal. He's a Gallinari type of player. I like him. He's going to be all right. They just got to put some weight on him. So we got to get a 5. That's the Heat's biggest problem. This whole Kevin Durant, Donovan Mitchell deal, it's just running away from the real problem. We don't have a big. We don't have a big. Every time we go up against a team with a big, we struggle. Every time. How did Al Horford have a historic game against us? Because we don't have a big. That's the only way. We just don't. You see Indiana don't give a damn about Miles Turner. Go get Miles Turner. If you can go get John Collins, I'm okay with that. Don't break the bank for it, but I'm okay with it, right? You need to go get a big that has long wingspan, defensive guy that takes the breaks right off of Bam. So that's my take there. Real easy fix.
Aiden.
I wasn't gonna throw Aiden in there.
Well,
I know he's a free agent and he played very well with Phoenix. What about someone like Bismack Biyombo?
No.
Screw it. I mean, honestly, no. Backup. No. We just had Dedmon, and I'm not whatever about Dedmon. If you can get Bismack Biyombo, get him in there for Dedmon, great. Starting, I don't know.
I would have said JaVale McGee, but he's
but he making too many mistakes.
No.
Making too many mistakes.
Joshua already answered the question, so I can go with Miles Turner. I can fuck with John Collins is a little too small for me. He's a natural 4. He's not a 5. I love Collins. He's a Florida boy, but he's just a little too small for me. Turner is the guy, but now that's been fucked up since Phoenix matched the offer sheet for Indiana. So I don't know what our path to Miles Turner is unless we get rid of Tyler Hero, which it seems like, Joshua, you're a fan of Tyler Hero. I think he's a piece of shit. Let's just be honest.
He needs another Jack Harlow song to, I guess, prop up.
Yeah.
He got 2 in his head after the bubble.
Yeah.
And Bryce has Kentucky roots, and he hates Hero too. So let's just throw that out.
I hear you. That's fair.
But I agree with you with Duncan Robinson. I will. Michael knows my love for Russell Westbrook. I will never say anything bad about Russell Westbrook. I will never say anything bad about Duncan Robinson. A weapon like that cannot sit on the bench.
Bro,
they have to figure it out.
Was it $96 million they gave him?
Bro, he's one of the best catch and shoot boys in the league.
Shout out my Wolverine guy. Let's go.
But he's got to at least make his shots. If you're going to be terrible on defense, you have to be lights out, and he was not lights out. He
only had one bad year though. In his defense, this year, this is the worst year he's ever had. In his defense, so
it's easier to forgive a guy like Tyler Hero for having a bad year when he's so versatile, though, as opposed to Duncan Robinson, who's a one-trick pony.
Here's my issue with Tyler. My issue with Tyler is every fucking year in the playoffs, outside of one series, he disappears. He totally Caspers on us, and that's my issue. And I'm over it. If we could have had him make a couple of shots against, don't get me wrong, God knows the NBA was sucking Boston's dick the whole time, and a lot of calls went against us. Kudos to the Heat for not complaining about that, but we all could see what was going on. Okay, clear agenda to get Boston in the finals, and for Jimmy Butler to have the ball in his hands with an opportunity to win that series, despite everything that the NBA was doing, is great. And I'm happy he took that shot. But if Tyler Hero, even he was hurt again, right? Had a hamstring issue.
Yep.
If we could have got more for him, we still could have won that series. And I'm just exhausted with his lack of production in the playoffs. It's 3 years in a row. Like I said, outside of Bubble Hero, that was one fucking series. Let's not clown ourselves. One series, okay? I'm tired. I'm fucking tired. Jimmy Butler is fucking tired.
Dog. He's gassed.
Jimmy's literally tired. He's not emotionally feeling it tired. Right. He's feeling it physically.
But you also see the value. Like, they've had so much trouble trying to get, like, even though there's a reason why the trade moves ain't been moving like that for the Heat, is because people ain't looking at Hero like that.
Right.
Right.
Well, and he's due an extension anyway, right?
Yeah, he is. But he has from now until the offseason to sign it. So he's going to be in Miami this year unless we decide to move him. But like Joshua said, there's not a big market for him.
Right.
So they see what we see.
Yep.
I don't know what Jack Harlow sees. I don't know what the people who gave him his own cereal sees. But it's a reason that he hasn't been signed to an extension yet. It's a huge reason.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Joshua, is there any other moves? Well, first of all, let me say this. I said this with Bryce. I'm going to say it again. PJ Tucker, I love you and thank you, and I'm sad that you're gone. Joshua, is there any other moves that we can make to because it seems like you want them to run it back, but we still need help. So outside of Miles Turner, is there any other person out there somewhere that can come help Jimmy Butler?
Nope. At this point, it's so. That's why I said, like, that's why I'm at the point where it's like, okay. Because here's the deal. Like, there's one guard, Colin Sexton, but the Cavs are playing with that so much. I'm like, if you can get Colin Sexton somehow, some way, maybe, possibly, go do it, because that's a dog. That's a real dog who's going to play all the way through. And I think he's being wasted in Cleveland because now all the focus is on Garland over there. So I get it. Yeah. I get it. So that's the only, like, I mean, then maybe Schroeder. If you can do that too, I like him as well. That's another young dog. Here's the deal. Miami needs dog type of players. If you are not a dog, you cannot end up here.
And you said Schroeder? Schroeder's the one that left an $80 million deal on the table to go sign a minimum of $5 million. So
I'm just grabbing for air at this point. I'm just grabbing for air. There's nothing. There's nothing, Mike. What am I looking at, Mike? Nothing. Montrezl James Harden, he sucks. Carmelo, he's such a dog. You don't know if his heart's gonna give out or not. Bless his heart. But wow, no pun intended. But you don't know what's going on. There's nothing. Everybody that was worth taking is taken. That's why Pat Riley's on the phone. Please, what do you need for Donovan? Please. But it's not happening.
And that's why I was thinking when you're talking the 5, I'm thinking free agent center because the people that you want to keep right now that you had just mentioned, some of them would have to be involved in a deal to bring Miles Turner over. So if you want to keep your core that you're talking about, the free agent market is where it needs to be. So who's on the free agent market, the unrestricted free agent market, that you could just go sign in 10 minutes. And that's why I was thinking someone like a productive Bismack Biyombo. Or had he not been signed to JaVale McGee. They played very well in Phoenix for the past 2 seasons. So
I'm going to throw out one name before we move on. Controversial name. Kids had a rough off season. But Miles Bridges in Charlotte. I'm going to throw that out. Okay. He hasn't signed now Charlotte hasn't rescinded the offer sheet, but it hasn't been signed yet. He can give you a 4, but he's kind of similar to Bam. So
I'll take him.
If you get Miles Bridges, Bam can stay at the 5 and Bridges can play the 4. And we might have to give up Hero, who hasn't signed his extension. See where I'm going with that, Joshua? So that could be a low-key possibility. We know he's rough.
I'll take it.
We know that might be a low-key sneak option, and Tyler Hero could help Charlotte greatly because my little cousin's up there, and he needs some help too. Okay, the former rookie of the year, so he needs some help up there. But
facts,
definitely.
But Miles
gonna have those guys ready to go. They're gonna love him there.
Yeah, Steve Clifford is a goddamn graveyard of a coach.
Oh,
He's
Steve
gonna,
Clifford. Yeah. I get him and
yeah,
Kyle.
Steve Clifford. Yeah, forgive me. Steve Clifford's gonna run those kids into the ground. You best believe it.
To the
All
dirt.
right. So now we're gonna move right along. Bryce, what do you think about all this Kevin Durant talk this offseason? What the fuck's going on? What's gonna happen with your cupcake?
It's I don't know. He flip flops more than anybody I really know. I feel I don't know. We thought it was a little early for him to be doing this already. Clearly, Brooklyn was probably a little surprised too. And like Josh said, they're asking for a mountain for basically anybody on their team. So who knows if they get anything done at this point? It's leaning towards he's probably gonna stay in Brooklyn, but you know anything could happen. I just if we're talking about anybody that needs to be quiet is Kevin Durant. You know, because he truly brings it on himself. He's one of the most sensitive superstars I've ever seen. He's clearly probably the most talented scorer in the league. You know, I don't like to call him the best player in the league. You know, he's up there, but they built this culture in Brooklyn, and we talk about this all the time. Now they got to live with it. I don't care. I don't feel bad. Golden State said we don't need you, even though I'm sure they would have him back. Anybody would have it, all right. But they're asking too much. Brooklyn's asking too much, and it's fair for them to ask that. You know, they don't want to get rid of. Nobody wants to get rid of Kevin Durant. They got 3 years to prove that they were the right choice. I think a lot of what he decides to do depends on how they handle the Kyrie situation, which also seems to be a disaster. So honestly, I don't even think Brooklyn really knows what to do, and so I think there's a good chance both those guys stay there. But whether they're happy, that's a different story. And Kevin Durant he never really seems all that happy. So I don't know. I don't know what they do with him, but I think he was preemptive and asking for a trade and asking for the teams he was asking for, because I don't think it's realistic, and I don't think he's going to have the results he's going to want after Brooklyn takes everything from these teams, even if he wants to go there. I just like that. I thought the Heat were going to be the clear front runners, even though Phoenix was number one on the list. I didn't see that as much, but after the last couple of weeks, the way the negotiations have broken down, at least the rumors that we've heard, it just seems like it's too high asking price. Pat Riley's sitting over there looking like Johnny Depp with his little beads and rings on. I don't think he's too keen on giving up everything either. So
Right.
I mean, no one's going to get one over on Pat Riley. It's going to be the other way around, and so I just don't see it happening now. So who knows? But he just needs, to me, Kevin Durant just needs to kind of just pipe down, not shut up and dribble, because I think that's ridiculous to say to some of these people, you know. But he's overly sensitive. So
real quick, before Mike and Joshua jump in, I want to drop a quote that Bryce drops all the time, and I want you guys to respond to it. So Bryce says, and rightfully so, that Kevin Durant is the greatest role player in the history of the NBA. Michael, how do you feel about that?
Based off that quote, I would agree 100%. 100%.
At this point,
I mean, think about it. I mean, a lot of people give LeBron shit for going with Miami and building that team. The only person they had on that roster was D Wade. So outside of Chris Bosh coming over, outside of Chris Bosh coming over from Toronto,
Ray Allen?
that was
Shea Battier.
No. Those guys weren't part.
Rashad Lewis.
Bro, they were part of the original one, bro.
Birdman.
Mike Miller was there. It was Mike Miller. Those guys, they had to bring those players to the team and have them sign minimum veteran minimum deals and whatnot to be able to afford them. Right? This man Kevin Durant can walk over to Golden State and become the Finals MVP for Steph Curry's team. That was Steph Curry's team as a player. Then you walk over to Brooklyn after they're starting to put together their team. Like, you get to go where you want, and you're not necessarily the centerpiece, but you are the biggest name, right? So let's think about what he's trying to do and who he's trying to play with, right here and there, or wherever he's going. He's trying to take, to me, the easy way out. And that's why I say his championships and his finals MVPs, the softest in NBA history. Absolutely softest in NBA history. He's got 2 marshmallows that he's putting on his finger. Those aren't rings; those are marshmallows. So, I mean, when I think about Bryce's quote, I agree 100%, 100%.
Yeah, I'm not too far off there, honestly. Like they just wanted the ring. They just want to chip without the man. They're like, yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll take you back. Sure, if you want to come over and get us make another one, we can bring some more money to the arena. That's cool. But yeah, like every time they try to build around him, look what happens. It falls apart. The man tried to come to Miami. He would not have been the man. It's Jimmy's team. He would have been taking orders from Jimmy. And then as soon as they start barking at him too much, oh, man, whatever. I'm Kevin Durant, blah, 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 blah. Burner account this, burner account that. It's yeah, like that's why I don't want the man here, because as soon as you try to tell him something, he's like, man, I'm Kevin Durant. Bro, like you know what I'm saying? Like they got swept. Nobody wants to say it. They got swept.
This is something that Cam says all the time, and it's like solidifies my idea of how I see him. And this is he says, you'll get your 30, maybe 35 from him a night, but that's it. And so that's what I think of in terms of a role player, someone that brings something to the table night in, night out, but then there's nothing else. You don't have LeBron. You don't have like him putting on the shades like LeBron did, getting ready to come back from that 3-1. You don't have that kind of determination. Like, I'm going to do everything I have to on the court. Kevin Durant does one thing and he does it great, but he's not your leader, and he's not the one that's going to bring you back, and he's not going to be the one making clutch defensive plays. That's why I'd much easily call Giannis the best right now over a guy like Durant, because he can affect the game on every single play. Kevin Durant doesn't do that, and not taking anything away from him, but he has one thing only to do, and that's to drop 30. And he does that, and that's it. That's why he's the role player in my eyes. And he tried to make it his own team, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. He's the LeBron James like wannabe in that regard.
Oh, I like that. Thank you, Bryce.
At least I'm not like a LeBron fanboy, but when he goes somewhere and wins a ring, you can't argue with it. And he's won a ring everywhere.
Man, bro, like he takes over the team everywhere he goes. They're automatically trajectory going to the finals, or at least the Western or Eastern Conference. I'll throw one more wrench in there. I've had this argument, and this is not a related argument, but it just kind of paints perspective a little bit. So Kevin Durant had a teammate who left, went to a Western team, right? The Rockets, right? And I've had the Dwayne Wade versus Harden argument like for weeks now, but it gives me a little bit of perspective when we're talking about Durant as far as like scoring ability wise. So arguably in Harden's prime, like in Houston, when the man was like scoring at an unprecedented amount, right? Just as much as Kevin Durant could put the ball in the hoop, right? Okay, cool. I feel like Harden, even with that, was able to kind of take his team farther with that ability than Durant has ever been able to without help. So it just kind of paints a perspective of Durant's overall effect. Like if your man Harden, who went from the 6th man to the Rockets, and they built around him, and he was and with the same type of offensive firepower, like both of them are not really defensive powerhouses. They're both like, and one is smaller than the other. You got to think about it. It just kind of shows like Durant's pedigree as far as like what he's able to actually affect on the court, because the game changes as time goes on, right? And I felt like you had people that played with him that were able to take that same game and go farther and affect franchise in a different way than he's ever been able to. And I just want to kind of paint that perspective a little bit. I feel like you said, Durant's just like one of the greatest. I mean, you can't take away one of the greatest scorers, but that effect on the overall flow of the game he don't have. And he's one of those guys that's going to push blame on everybody else when shit hits the fan. He's not going to actually lead people and get people together. That's why the whole conversation, him jumping ship, was honestly, that's why the whole thing is falling apart now. I think he's going to end up staying in Brooklyn, and he's going to have to figure that out.
He's got to. He's like the leverage is on Brooklyn's side right now, which is why they're asking for so much. He signed that 4-year extension, and he's only into year 1. So Kyrie, I'll tell you this: Kyrie's gone.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone
this year. If he doesn't get traded, he's gone. He's gonna walk over. And you know what?
LeBron.
One argument that I want to shut the hell down right now is this whole Kyrie didn't play type shit. Yo, the reason why Kyrie didn't play was because of bullshit mandates, right? If you take that away, he plays the season. Let's be real. And when he was on the court, Kyrie was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Let's not paint a different picture that he's not going to play if he goes to LA. And LA is the spot he wants to be at. So I give Kyrie a lot of kudos for actually, like, I think we talked about on one of the shows where he called LeBron, right, and had that conversation. He recognized what he was missing out on, and look where he wants to go now. He wants to go back to LeBron. Great. I want to see it. Bring it on, right? CL, get rid of Russ. Let him go. Let him go. He can go play with OKC again if that's the case. I don't care where he goes. He can go wherever.
That's a nice tour.
But he has that power because he just signed the player option deal, right? So he's got this 1 year in Brooklyn and he can walk. They might as well trade Kyrie and try and get something for him at this point, right? But Kevin Durant, I'm sorry, Kevin Durant, you are asking for a trade. What are you gonna do? I mean, really, you're gonna be on the court, you're gonna be playing, right? You're gonna sit down for 3 years? No. You're going to play. You are at the beck and call of the Brooklyn Nets. You're going to be there. And if they do trade you, it's because they just don't want to deal with the headache. And they would be nice to send him to Phoenix, if you ask me. To Bryce's point, if he comes to Phoenix, who's the leader on that team? CP3. It's going to be CP3. It's not going to be Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant's going to be the best player on the floor every single night, pretty much.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. They to me, send them to a team for a horrible team that can give you as many draft picks as possible.
Sacramento.
Yeah, there you go.
Back in the day. So
Boom.
look, back in the day, Mike, remember when we were kids, they were sending everybody to the Clippers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, you remember that?
That was horrible.
Yeah, they sent them to the Clippers. Send them to Minnesota, fuck that.
Well, Clippers are kind of straight now, so
this has been an absolute
to watch. I love Minnesota.
Look, this is Minnesota. They're frauds, and let me tell you why. Because they'll have one good year, and then they'll be horrible for the next 6. They do this all the time. They're frauds. I can't honestly say I'm looking forward to seeing Minnesota play because they've tricked me so many times in the past. They have to do it 2 years in a row. Then
so we need to do a conversation on that because I have a different feeling for it.
Okay.
I want to see the Tim Duncan and David Robinson towers of power with more spread floor because Cat can shoot the 3. So that would be interesting.
Cat's already soft and he does like to be on the perimeter. And now you have Gobert on the inside taking up all that space. So I don't know how it's going to play out because Rudy Gobert is slow. And I want my best offensive player to be able to go to the hoop. And I don't know if Gobert will be able to get the fuck out his way all the time. So,
Edwards?
No. I'm talking about my big. If I got a big that's that talented, I need his ass going to the basket. Now, if he doesn't have anything, then you kick it back out to Edwards or D'Lo and let them come in there. But Cat should always be the first option. And that first option necessarily shouldn't be shooting threes the entire game. That's just me. I'm old school. That's just me. So, but Mike, we will have plenty of time to revisit that as the season starts. Okay. So we're gonna wrap it up for today, and I want to say thank you again to Michael and Joshua for being on. Joshua, tell the people where they can find you at, please, sir.
So you can find me at Sunny J on Instagram, Twitter. I'm not even talking about you social anymore. But YouTube, you can also catch us on Doubted Views as well. We break down a bunch of stuff, finance, entertainment, sometimes sports if we could tie it in. But for the most part, cover headlines. And we got a couple of things working over there. But you can definitely catch us over there.
Go ahead, Money Mike.
Yep, you can catch me on Twitter at what is my Twitter? McCartney0726. My IG is Michael Franz 0726, and you can catch me also on Doubted Views on Finance Fridays. And then as CL and Bryce allow me to be on here, you catch me on here as well. I'm like the podcast whore. I just go everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. Kevin Durant.
Hey, yo.
Now you just hurt my heart.
Michael's a cupcake.
I'm the Kevin Durant. I'm the Kevin Durant of podcasts.
Yeah, Michael's a cupcake. Michael, go ahead and tell him what your burner accounts are while we're on it.
I'm logging on to go create one right now.
Yeah, the Kevin Durant of podcast. That
was great, Bryce.
Dropping 30 on everybody, just great knowledge.
Yeah, we're definitely, our evolution is, and again, thank you to Joshua because this makes it easier. We're going to have more guests on for this upcoming season. So we've been using this software. I think this is the second time that we've been using it. So I'm still like tweaking shit behind the scenes, but this is going to be great. And we're definitely going to have you guys on more. Joshua, I'll even get with Zahel and see if we could do a throwback top of the key.
No, he'll like that
episode.
He'll like that.
And again, I'm proud of all you guys. The legacy of the Hardwood Nation is strong. We aren't going anywhere. We're just going to keep evolving. So thank you guys for joining the Hardwood Nation podcast today. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Hardwood Nation. Subscribe, share, and like our content on YouTube. Again, at Hardwood Nation. And we are out.